2. Okay, we should be live. Now, this time, I disabled the YouTube auto stop feature, which in theory, I didn't test this, but in theory it should mean if the stream disconnects like it did last week and I have to restart the stream, I should be able to reconnect to this stream specifically, and it will not be ended until I press the unstream button. Now, I don't know if that means if I forget to press this button ever when I'm done streaming, if that means it'll just be alive forever. I don't know how that works. It's not going to be getting data, so I assume it will eventually just turn itself off. I don't know how that works, but supposedly I made it so that the issue we had last week will never happen again. We'll see in practice, though. Also, welcome, man.
Hello.
Hello, hello. Roses are red, violets are blue. I didn't make new Valentine's cards this year, but here's some Yuri for you. Based.
How fucking lazy was I this February?
I saw a tweet yesterday that was a dude posting a selfie of himself and saying, I want to make more mutuals. Here's some things I enjoy. I like this VN, I like this series or whatever. And then like a day later, he quote tweets that saying, all right, that shit didn't work. Here's some Yuri. And it just posted a CG of Saber and Rin making out. And that post blew it up. So it's like, okay, well, I guess that works.
If at first you don't succeed, Yuri.
Always Yuri. Holy. Yeah, it's been a trend going around, where like you post your like a photo of yourself or your avatar, and then you like surround it with the different media you like. Like here's 10 games to get to know me. The current trend to date
Right.
to date our episode just a bit. current trends.
I was interested in doing one of those, but I haven't yet, just because mostly I'm lazy.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, well, did you do it?
No, sure did.
Yeah, okay, so you don't get to go wow to me about that, okay? You don't get to do that, okay?
I'm getting bullied.
Yeah, you are.
Deservedly.
Whoa.
And Andy's here, nice.
Whoa.
Supposedly, Shadow will also be here. He just says he will be, might be a bit late. But once Shadow is here, this should be everybody that I know that will be here. So, as far as I know. Welcome, Andy.
Hello.
Hello. Shadow is typing. If we're ready to start, the introductions will probably be there by then. Well, we gotta wait for ads to end anyway, so he's got time still. You got time, Shadow. You got time. Soul in the chat with the first redeem and the login. What a legend. Over on twitch.tv/Wolfborg with 2 Gs. Holy shit. 2 of them. Welcome back. You were gone forever. I counted. Oh yeah, also, if you use Twitter, don't use old tweet deck. It will get you banned as of today, or as of last night, I guess. It's just been
so
a big wave of people getting banned over it, yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people getting banned over using like those tweet decks, those old tweet things like that. The way to get around it is to delete your Twitter account, move to Blue Sky.
Base.
That's what I did. I'd recommend it.
Base. Base.
I hate that so many fandoms are still on Twitter exclusively, and I'm just like, get please somewhere else. I had to like go onto Twitter just to see all the reactions to the newest chapter of Degrayman, and I hate it. I mean, there's like Discords for it, sure, but like a lot of JP people and stuff are only on Twitter, and I hate it. Get off of Twitter. Why are you still? It's ran by the worst man. Like, it doesn't function hardly. It's held on by tape.
Yeah.
Like,
Not Facebook.
Like at some point, you gotta put the violins down and head for the lifeboats.
like
I mean, we know the reason why people are still using it. The people are still using it because a lot of the people that they know are still using it, and so they're not going to move until they all mass do it. Which bans like this will cause more people to do it, at least. But yeah, I mean that's the main. Like I have my Blue Sky, and I try to remember to post some of my posts onto there as well. But everybody I interact with a lot on one of these sites is like still on Twitter, so it's unfortunate. They like also have Blue Skies, but they never post on them too. So it's like, okay, well, I can't transition yet. I can't go over to there yet. So not fully.
They like, I hate it too, especially when people still try to use like not only like use Twitter, but like actually try to use it as if it's a functioning platform. Because I'll look at our DMs sometimes on different accounts, and it's like, oh, somebody tried to reach out to me here. You fool! Don't you see that my DMs are full of just bots? Do you think that people actually read DMs on Twitter anymore?
The only DMs that I get on Twitter is one of my new online friends sending me Soneto fan art that they get on their timeline.
I literally, if I were to check my personal accounts on Twitter right now, usually when I check it, it's like at least 2 bot DMs a day.
Yeah, it's actually crazy. Account. Yeah.
Let's see, 6 hours ago, 6 hours ago, 10 hours ago, 12 hours ago, 12 hours ago, 13 hours ago, 1 day ago, 1 day ago, 1 day ago, 1 day ago, 2 days ago, 2 days ago. Like, really? Really? Y'all want to use Twitter still? Huh?
Yeah, it is crazy. And then they're adding, instead of, like, messages, you have chat functions on Twitter now, which I don't know anybody's using that shit at all.
Hate it.
Alright, well, that's your warning / discussion about the current state of Twitter, which is that it's still on fire.
Leave!
It's burning down. Also, welcome, Shadow. Alright, ads are done. Ads are done. We're ready to actually officially get started.
Tumblr is a more functioning website than other social media platforms.
Are you saying we should
all
move over to Tumblr
for a while?
I mean, yeah.
No.
Move over to Tumblr? I don't know. I don't know about that.
Is Tumblr still run by Yahoo?
It is absolutely the best social media site still currently running. That doesn't mean people should go there.
Oh, I see. So just stop using social media.
Like
that's true.
Don't use any.
So,
there we go.
That's true. Shadow's got the right mindset.
Shadow's
not on anything. Yeah.
You know how there's different kinds of
that's a good way to put it.
Like, Twitter is a dumpster fire. Tumblr is more like a chemical fire.
Which one's a campfire?
It's still a fire, but slightly worse.
I think Tumblr at this point is Centralia.
Centralia. Okay. Well, where does Reddit fall in the flames?
Dumpster fire.
I'd probably say. I mean, there's a lot of shit.
It's a different kind of dumpster fire from Twitter. Like Twitter is absolutely
the
worse.
Of the dumpster are different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also the worst source I've ever seen for Yu-Gi-Oh! Rulings. I hate it every time I get sourced by Reddit.
I'm glad that
It's
we
so bad.
know. Hey, Shadow, real quick. Can I have you rank on a tier list every single social media platform in existence on a scale from good for Yu-Gi-Oh to bad for Yu-Gi-Oh?
I feel like most of them. I feel like Shadow's answer for most of them is going to be I don't know / I've never used this, and then there's going to be like two. There's going to be two that he has an idea about. It's going to be like just Reddit and then like I don't know, fucking Discord servers or something.
One to be Twitter.
Okay, so at -1
When are we
we
getting
have
Shadow on
ChatGPT. At 0 there's Reddit.
I like the inclination here that ChatGPT is social media.
It's
Shadow,
I mean
we're not
I
gonna
mean most of
do
the
that. It's okay.
most of the people on social media are just ChatGPT now, you know, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Speaking of software systems,
speaking of dumpster fires, let's talk about Kagerou Daze. Okay, let me
Lord.
let me turn off the pre-show. Okay, we're getting started. All right, calm down. Okay.
I
Ready?
was segueing with NA being software. Jeez.
Well,
No.
all right. Let's get going. Let's get going.
Dumpster fires, come
Let's
on.
get going. Let's get going.
You got-
All right. Welcome everybody to another exciting episode of the Anime Book Club here on YouTube, Twitch, and Kick all at the same time. We are here to continue our discussion on Kagerou Daze volumes 11 and 12. We're close to the end. One more week and then we're all done. But before we get into this week's discussions, let's introduce our guests for this week. In alphabetical order, as always, Andy Zami. Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Andy. I use he, they pronouns, please. I don't like this series, so instead everybody should go read anything else.
Well, okay, the recommendation is anything but this. Okay, interesting.
No. We're not going to do that. No.
You know what? Fine.
If you're going to
Okay.
say that, you're going to give an actual recommendation, or you're going to not.
You're gonna move over to Tumblr.
Everybody should go make a Tumblr account.
Okay, I'll accept that.
Okay.
Okay.
Because that's funny.
All right, what do you got for us, Andy?
Watch Fiona and Kate.
Okay.
I've heard it has really good yaoi in it right now.
All right, go check that out if you are interested in that. I like the framing of that. Does this imply you have not checked this out at all? Whatever this is.
No, I haven't seen a single episode.
Okay. Well, all right. Blind recommendation. All right, you go watch it and tell Andy how it was. Okay.
Hold on, I think I have like bits and parts of it from when I was a kid. This was a long ass time ago.
Okay.
Fiona
wow.
and Cake is the
Shadow,
sequel
you were
to
a kid
Adventure
very
Time.
soon. I hate to break it to you.
Was it like 3 years ago or something? All right. Anything else, Andy?
Umineko is good.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah, we can't recommend Umineko every week.
Okay, thank you so much for that,
Watch me.
Andy. Thank you so much for that, Andy. Next up, Anne's Theory of Happiness. Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Marianne or Anne, whichever you prefer. Yeah, read Umineko.
We can't keep recommending Umineko. Sheen, this is the 7th time you recommended Umineko this week.
It's just
You
that
can't fucking
good.
stop me.
What are you
Alright.
gonna do? Not recommend Umineko?
No, I recommend
Yeah, Chop, are you
Umineko
saying that
Gold.
people
Golden
read
Fantasia.
Umineko?
I can't recommend
There we
Umineko
go,
Gold
it's
because that's
the
not out. But
real-
Umineko Golden Fantasia. All right, there you go. Anyways, anything else, Anne? Any actual recommends?
I just can't believe you hate Umineko, and that's the thing you said on
Without love, it
I
can't be
believe you're a
seen.
misogynist.
It can't be seen. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Oh, God. All right. Thank you so much for that, Anne. Next up, Arimia. Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Ramium. I like shining shit. This week.
You recommend Umineko?
No. We're not gonna continue the bit. It was good. let's see. I read this. Oh Lord, I've already forgotten it. For Halloween, I read this anthology. What was it, Soul? Night of the Living Queers. that was.
I wonder what
that was
that's
a
about.
Is
Anthology.
it like Night of the Living Cat?
It was an anthology of 13 young adult horror stories of queer people of color that are teens that are going through horrors on Halloween during a blue moon. Incredibly specific, but it was an anthology. And some of the stories were good, some of them not so good, but that's how anthologies go.
That's true. That's true.
So, yeah, that was my recommendation because last week was Halloween. And every week could be Halloween if you really wanted it to be.
That's true if you're not a coward about it.
Especially if you're stuck on Rokkenjima forever and ever.
I was about to say, especially for Maria.
All right, well, thank you so much for that. Go check that out if you're interested in that. Next up, me, A.N.A. Vorg, a.k.a. Wolfborg, a.k.a. Chaplain, a.k.a. the best anime book club host ever of all time. This is just a fact. Look it up. I would recommend Better Call Saul, okay? You need a will, you gotta call McGill, all right? It's a very good show. Me and Shadow have been... I've seen it already several times, and now I'm rewatching it to show it to Shadow. So we're almost done with season 1.
You want to know who needs a will?
Who needs a will?
Kenzo?
Listen, we cannot bring Umineko up for every single introduction. This cannot happen. We cannot connect Umineko to Better Call Saul, all right? There's not enough stickers for this, all right? Not enough stickers. All right. Anyways, thank you so much.
Everybody would have enough stickers is the problem.
Okay, sweet. So go check out Better Call Saul if you haven't already, okay? If you haven't, I don't know what you're doing. Go check it out. All right, next up, Shadowman V4. Introduce yourself.
I am Shadow. The thing I don't recommend this week is Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters 1. It's a mess, alright? It's an absolute mess. Although it's really good because it takes 10,000 years to beat when you're stuck in an eternal time loop.
Damn.
I love eternal time loops. You know what else has an eternal time loop?
Stop! We're gonna have, there's swear jars. We're gonna have an Umineko jar, okay? Every time you bring up Umineko, alright?
I will say, just get it out of your system now so that we don't have to mention it at all for the rest of the episode.
Oh my god.
Alright, you see the problem though, it just ramps up. It just keeps increasing. It doesn't cool down.
Okay, you don't get to bring up Umineko again, alright? No more Umineko. We're done.
Trendo, help us.
Alright, thank you so much for that, Shadow. Turndo, introduce yourself.
Hello everyone, I'm Turndo and I like to read.
Sweet, and that's all you need to be here. Wow, we went through a whole intro without mentioning the series. Thank you for that, Turndo. All right, let's get started with our discussion about Kagerou Daze, volumes 11 and 12. Before we get into this week's volumes, Andy here has caught up to the series in time to discuss things with us. Andy, what has been your thoughts about Kagerou Daze so far, catching up for this?
It's not good.
Well, first of all, I forget, you were here for the earlier episodes of this, right?
I was here for one episode and then I had a mental breakdown.
That happens.
So it happens. I was here for, this was actually something that I wanted to criticize. So I was here for the episode.
Kagerou Daze.
I was here for the episode where it showed that the teacher was also looking for the Kagerou Daze. And that was something that, looking back on it now, has kind of irked me. Because obviously, if it was good writing, okay, the implication that I was under was that Clearing was the teacher, not the little kid. I thought that would have been more interesting. Because the teacher was playing himself up to be an ally to.
And that might have been true for the first loop. That might have been true for the first loop. We've undone several things in this next loop.
In that loop, it could have been the teacher, and then it transferred over to Konoha, because it was Konoha at the end. It looked like, but I mean that could have happened
American corner.
So it felt like the teacher it felt like in the first loop it was writing the teacher to be a lot more involved than he was. And that felt like poor writing to me.
And then he kind of just vanished.
Yeah, and then he kind of vanished, and obviously it was kind of hinted at in the story with whoever his wife turned out to be. That was like they were the adoptive parents of the Mekakushi Don or whatever. And it's like, okay, yeah, he had like reason to be looking for it in the past, but like it was like you were hit with so much foreshadowing in that first bit, and then it just goes nowhere. Like, I can get undoing certain parts of the canon, but if you could at least tie it in a little bit, you know, have something where that makes sense other than it just being a character introduction, that's really where I was getting lost, I guess, throughout all of this.
It was wild last week where it was like he was set up as a bad guy in the first loop, and then here we find out last week he just fucking dies off screen before any of these events happen.
He does?
Now.
Yeah.
Yeah, when the car accident
that
killed
his
what's her
wife
name's?
as well.
Yeah, what's her name's
Ayana.
family when they were
Oh.
taking Mary there. He's just fucking dead supposedly.
That's crazy.
Because it's
yeah,
two hands sticking up with wedding bands, so it was him and the wife.
That's my implication of what happened at least. So
he might have survived. Who knows? We still gotta have
most of what I'm reacting to, I think, really is the reason, looking like retrospectively, now that I'm saying this out loud, the reason that I liked Azami's story so much, that was her name, right? Not Amazi,
yes.
Azami. Yeah, the reason that I liked Azami's story so much is because it felt like it had a lot more symbolic weight to what then went on to happen. So it was a lot more like interesting. Because it was like, okay, you can see where the different symbols are tying in. Like, it was very obvious, but the way that each of the different eye abilities were represented before they're separated into the kids, right? And I really liked that. Or, you know, the idea that what she's struggling with is her identity and sense of self. And then that kind of permeates into how everybody else is kind of trying to navigate the world and like figuring out who they are. That was really interesting to me. I keep expecting that to happen with the first bit, and it keeps not happening. And so then I feel like disappointed almost that it's not living up to the expectations that first arc had set out for me. I think is what I'm reacting to.
Right. And again, I had only experienced the anime many years ago, and I don't remember much about the plot of how the anime did these events or whatever. I remember all these characters being in there. I just don't remember the events that happened in there. So I don't know, you know, I know this is different outline stuff, but that whole first loop, I'm just like, is this continued in one of those ones probably? And what we got after that first loop is just where the manga is completely different, and we you know, I mean, because that's been my understanding. But I didn't realize, again, and this was my big complaint last week, I'm not going to get into the full rant of it here. I'm just going to say, like, it's kind of bullshit to fully undo backstories that we spent time establishing for, like, 3 fucking volumes.
Like a whole volume, yeah.
Like, that's wild.
Time on this.
All those backstories undone. Like, what the fuck?
I know I mentioned this in the chat. I like Shintaro's story in this loop a lot more.
Sure. Okay.
The idea that he was friends with what's his face, who obviously is not important because I don't remember his name.
Haruka, yeah.
Haruka. The fact that Haruka's death was what was impactful to Shintaro rather than like that girl who in the first loop was still a complete stranger. And now that we're in this loop and she does have an established story, again, like that first one where we're introduced to all of the characters, we're like never gonna know what happened there. Like what was like, so it's like I just prefer how Shintaro's character has developed in this version of the story better than the first one. I think it makes a lot more sense.
Mm.
I like Azami. I think all the characters are fine. What else? Oh, I like the man that really liked having a dominating woman telling him what to do. Peak. Love him. The man
husband
that
of
is-
Azami or whatever. Yeah, okay. The
Yeah,
guy who
yeah.
built her a house for like fucking 3 years. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And I find Keto's death Keto's death was not impactful to me because I didn't care about them.
What? I love Keto.
They're fine.
No, I understand your reasoning behind that, Andy, and I to an extent I do agree. Mostly because again, I see a side of the character in the first few volumes, then I get a different backstory for them in this volume, and then they're dead again. And by this point, I'm just established like, okay, there's a time loop thing, which is even messing with their backstory. So even if I feel bad for them, based on their backstory in this time loop, I'm not gonna really care so much knowing that the next loop could just undo all of that. It kind of like defeats my connection with a lot of these characters in that sense.
Speaking of another loop, I don't think it's gonna be another one.
No. At this point, I don't think there is.
No, I think there will be. Trust.
Well,
trust.
no. To be clear, and I said this last week. Okay, what's probably gonna happen is there will just be one more loop. It'll be like the last chapter is like the after effect of restarting the loop, but everybody's happy now because we have to restart the loop because Shintaro's sister's still fucking dead.
Yeah.
And Keto's still dead.
Well,
They gotta come back. We're not gonna be.
We'll live.
This series is not gonna end by leaving them dead. I don't think, unless we're going the route of literally everybody dies. This is a bad end. Which I doubt they're gonna do. I feel like it's gonna do. We've defeated the big bad, and now you get to see the third loop in the final chapter, and you get to see the calendar go to the next day out of the loop. Except we're 3 days beyond the loop today. I was like, what the fuck is happening here? Okay, we'll get into that more. Anyways, Andy, any more thoughts, Andy?
The one other thing that I wanted to say, I don't know if I mentioned this a whole lot because I wasn't sure how much we were trying to like avoid mentioning the songs. I think I mentioned it briefly the last time that I was here, but the expectations that I had solely from the songs that I had listened to were not at all what I ended up getting from the manga.
Yeah.
And it was almost, and again, sorry to bring it in. I think that some of it was influenced by the fact that we had recently read Umineko, so that was setting up my frame of reference for time loop mystery.
Sure.
To be in that kind of category. And then I knew in the back of my head, like I had seen one of the songs and I knew that it was like some kid repeating the same day over and over and over again. So that was what I was going into this expecting. And that is not what is what it has been at all. And I'm again disappointed because like that's why I was voting for this originally, is because that's kind of what I had been expecting. I was wanting to kind of get like that time loop mystery thing, and it's just like not the case. And it's like it's fine, but it's not what I had been hoping for sure.
Which I wouldn't mind if it was good, but it's just kind of the way it is currently.
I'd like, you go, Ari. What's your thoughts?
I think so. It seems like tonight's topic is going to be, or at least the beginning topic is going to be the. Well, it's kind of what we had last week, but the idea of them swapping. What? Shut up! Well, they swapping backstories and kind of negating the backstories before the loop. Because that brings about the question of is this really the same character or not? Because the backstory influences the current character, and here I really get the sense that they are trying to say that regardless of their circumstances, in most of these worlds, these characters will lead to the same kind of characteristics, the same personalities, even if they have wildly different backstories.
Sure.
Which is all right, but it does remind me, Shadow.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the kerfuffle with Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5.
I knew
Where
I knew we were bringing up
You
Yu-Gi-Oh. I knew it.
How did you know?
Because you
That's thinking
called out
about
Shadow
Shadow.
specifically. I'm like, well, she's
You
not going to
know
bring up
before
Mega
that.
Man, so she's bringing up Yu-Gi-Oh.
You know before that.
Chef, there was
Anyway.
a tiny
Anyways,
part of me,
Arc
okay?
V, Arc V. Tell us about Arc V.
Go on.
So Arc 5
There's a
is
kerfuffle. There's an incident.
is people describe it as the fan disc of Yu-Gi-Oh because it is okay. So it's the fifth installment of Yu-Gi-Oh where they have decided to make the previous installments of the Yu-Gi-Oh anime into different alternate worlds.
Which doesn't make sense in the context of playing these.
And so, but they also remove the protagonists from those worlds, and the plot is basically one of the worlds has become ultra dictatorship and totalitarian, and so they are going to war with the other AUs of the different series from prior Yu-Gi-Oh!
There is a Sonic show like this.
but because they have the different previous series, they bring back certain characters from those series. Oh, you get to see Jack Atlas again on
Saucy
his
Jack.
motorcycle in a new Yu-Gi-Oh series. Oh, but it's not a really Jack because
He's
the Jack we
completely
knew
different.
grew up on the satellite, and then he had all this stuff with Yusei, but Yusei doesn't exist anymore. So Jack is just kind of the guy he was at the beginning, who's like a total jackass, and
Yeah, I bet that's how he gets his name.
and there was a lot of that in this series.
Also, there's no
where
magic glue, so I'm pissed.
You've got these characters and they are supposed to be kind of the same, or at least
They're
end
not
up
quite.
the same, but then they don't really, and then it's kind of like, well, why do you think we liked these characters, you know?
Yeah.
It reminds me a bit like that, where in Kagerou Daze, at least they keep the same personalities and such, but we have these different backstories with them, which are kind of interesting to see. But it's still just kind of like, what does this lead us to? Where are we going with this methodology and this ideas? I will say, for anyone who has seen Arc 5, then you will know that some of the characters are incredibly different than their original forms. I'm looking at you, Ed Phoenix. But the idea is still just like, oh, look, here's your favorite character. Aren't you glad to see them back?
But it's not quite them, so I don't like them. I kind of hate it more now, actually. There's an
What we got
imposter
here
in
is
his
completely
clothes.
different now. So, I kind of enjoyed that journey we went on with them the first time. It feels, in Kagerou Daze, it feels to me like the creator wanted to just try out all these different combinations and such, that they had a lot of different ideas for how things should go. And it enters that dangerous territory of rewriting the characters' backstories so often, because that I do think that really is like a breaking of a rule for time loops to change all of that, because then it's not really a time loop. They kind of describe it more towards the end of this as just a total reset, but I don't know. It's hard to really quantify in terms of the narrative, because it just, to me, just really feels like this is the creator just doing whatever he wants with his characters. And I kind of I'm kind of like, yeah, go for it. But but as a reader, I'm also like, this doesn't make sense, you know?
Yeah, I mean, because, as a time travel or time event related story enjoyer, because you got time loop stories and you have like time travel stories, these are slightly different things, but like you get the main thing, even if you do have a plot where it does completely change the events for most things, like if you go back far enough and you change one event and then you go back all the way to the present, things are massively different. As long as one character that we focus on is like recognizes these big differences, you're still okay with it being like a time related story, because you at least have a character that is conscious of this and like you can explore these differences along with that person. Here, seemingly the only one that has that is the bad guy, who is just trying to reset the timeline again. So I don't. It's weird to have that. We as the reader can see the differences, but the only other character that notices these differences is the bad guy who's trying to reset things. I assume he notices the differences. This is my assumption based on the fact that he knows that he keeps resetting the timeline or whatever. That was another thing I want to discuss this week, but yeah. You go on.
I was just gonna I have opinions about the villain, but I think that was about this week's reading, so I don't know if you want to try and give the synopsis before we get into
as basically, yes. I mean, the main synopsis of it is like, we started off with the aftermath of Momo being thrown off the fucking roof. She is, in fact, really fucking dead. Then we had a very quick interaction where several other members of the group have shown up here. Konoha jumped through a window up there, I guess, with Hiyori in hand, because Hiyori, I'm assuming, located them, and then Konoha brought them over there. So they're there to stop Hibiya, who's now revealed to be controlled by the Clearing Eye Snake, who has just fucking killed Momo. And they're immediately trying to stop him. Konoha's trying to grab him. They tried to do like a fake out, like, oh guys, what's happening? What did I do something? Oh, let me go. Oh, you let me go? Ha, fucking idiot. I'm gone. And then tries to like leave. I was like, are we serious? We're doing this shit. But more stand out than all of that. Okay, there was a whole discussion there about their stuff, evil thing. I didn't care about any of that shit, all right? The only thing I remember about that was fucking the Clearing Eye Snake running into oncoming traffic of a truck driving by, who then burst into fucking flames upon getting hit. The truck, I mean. And the news reported it as, I couldn't believe it, how they summarized this news event. They were like, a woman appeared to have been fallen off a roof and died, and then another person nearby walked into a truck, which then happened to have a gas fuel leak, which then exploded, and then I guess there might have been another incident happening with the onlookers nearby. This is what we figured out after like 3 days of the event or something. I'm just like, there's a lot loaded into that fucking story. What are you talking about? What is happening? Which by the way, I'm still kind of fucking confused at what happened with okay, ignoring the fact that the truck exploded, all right, Hibiya threw himself into the traffic to get hit by the truck, I guess to bait Konoha into like going after him and getting hit by the truck too or something, because seemingly they both were caught in the explosion of the truck. But out of the flames, which by the way, I thought the flames looked weird and awkward as shit, but that's a different story. We'll talk about the art
We'll get
decline later. Out of the flames comes Kudoha, the black-haired Konoha, who fucked up and evil again, is apparently controlled by the Clearing Eye Snake, and he's just gone. So I'm just sitting here like, okay, so did Hibiya and Konoha die and then merge and then become that and then leave? Or did they both die and then he just happened to come back? Or, because we still haven't really gotten an explanation too much here about Konoha's fucking deal, other than the brief thing that we saw in the last loop where he seemingly was awakened in a lab by the crazy teacher, who's not alive to do that in this loop, by the way. I don't know anything about Konoha's situation in this loop, but somehow he's here, and somehow he has now turned fucked up and evil.
That.
You hadn't observed that? Yeah.
So
I hadn't considered that.
Oh, consider that. Yeah. Yeah, because, like, he supposedly, in this loop, Andy, Konoha, or his original body, Haruka, killed himself by jumping out of the window in the hospital in this loop. But all of this was even before that fucked up teacher, like, died. Or after that. So the teacher's been dead, so there's no, like, lab to bring him back through that. Not through that teacher, at least. Maybe somebody else, I don't know. But supposedly he jumped out the fucking window, too. We haven't had an explanation about that in here. I don't know what the fuck the deal's with that. So, yeah.
So there is a line in volume 12 after Konoha has been possessed, where the snake says that, like, his ability is to... Yeah, oh, I flipped to the right page. Your power enables you to build the body that the host desires. And now that I'm in this head, you're no longer calling the shots.
Okay.
So
No,
what
he's the big
I
shot.
take from that is that Konoha's ability was to just create some kind of form. So even though he is dead and does not have a usable body,
Okay.
he somehow his eyes, new body,
Which is
Yeah,
his character, who he did manage to, I think, draw at some point before he died in this loop. So it is established that he had the character design in mind before he killed himself, I guess. So
but yeah,
This is my OC. I'll become him.
what I take is that I'm still kind of a... This is weird, but I actually accept the idea of the evil teacher making them bodies, like making them like software programs more than this loop's explanation of what happened.
I
True.
thought that was really interesting, and I wanted to see where that was gonna go.
Maybe read the novels to find out about that.
Because I think that take on things is more accurate to some of the songs, if I remember right.
Maybe. Probably. Maybe.
Anime Music Club. One
yeah.
check.
Just to reiterate, for those of you listening who are fans of Kagerou Daze and do have other context or, like, know more about the other series or whatever than many of us do, like, all of this is from the frame of reference of most people went into this having not consumed any of that media. So if there are explanations for these things...
I think most of us have consumed at least some of it, but
no,
like it's
sure.
been years.
Yeah, that's, like, you need to come with the understanding of we're basically experiencing this as if we either haven't or we haven't in so long to the point where we're pretty much restarting or whatever. Like, some of us have general ideas of some of these characters from what we had experienced in the past or whatever, or like plot things that we experienced in the past from like the music or whatever. But for the most part, like, you know, some of these opinions are just being formed based on having consumed this as an experience by itself in a way. Because, like, I don't know. Like, I understand they're all disconnected, like, timelines or whatever. Steins Gate does disconnected timelines for a lot of its media as well. Like, the manga version of the story is different in ways than the visual novel and the anime and all that. But that's because all of these different iterations will, like, list that it'll specifically show you we are at a different timeline number or whatever. Like, we're on a different world line, very slightly in some cases, but it's still different in some ways to differentiate that fact. But there, it's still following, like, you know, traditional rules regarding that stuff for those type of stories. Here, if we're just doing a clean reset on some of these things, it makes it difficult to focus on elements later without thinking about the elements that we saw before. I just think it's wild that we started this showing us that first loop in so much detail with like backstory and everything before going on to the new loop. Like why did we do that? Why didn't we just start 3 volumes in or something to the story? I think, you know what I think actually? I think all of this would have been perfectly fine if we didn't bother showing any of the ANA backstory stuff in the first loop. I think
we would have been mostly fine.
I think if we just showed those two meeting up with the Mikakushidan, and then they get into the hostage situation thing, and then they all get killed by Kuroha later, and we didn't bother with any of the backstory stuff with ANA stuff, like, all of this would have been fine. But because we sat through that for like a whole volume, we have a whole bunch of different ideas for the things and events that were supposed to have happened, and the sense for the things that are currently happening. And I don't understand why this choice was made to show us all that.
I feel like it was 2 volumes.
Well, maybe it was 2 volumes.
It was a long time.
I just remember I think I remember 2 backstories. I think I remember 2 backstories that we saw in that first loop. It was the ANA stuff, and I think that was also the same loop that we saw what's his name go into the woods, and we learned he could read minds or whatever. I think that was also that loop. I could be wrong though. Yeah, Satou. I think that was also in that loop. Like, maybe that one is fine. Actually, I don't remember. Maybe that one was also in the second loop. I know the ANA one was in the first loop. I know this because we got a different ANA backstory for this loop. So I'm like, okay, well.
Sorry. Satou going into the forest was the second loop because I was here for the end of volume 4, and that was when they shot and killed whatever his face shot and killed them. And then the next one opened with Setou's backstory, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, okay. So then, yeah, I think my point still stands where it's like, if we didn't have to see those backstory events of the first loop, of the ANA stuff, I don't really think I'd have as much complaints about this kind of stuff. I don't think we'd be focusing on this conversation still.
Yeah.
But they decided to do that, and I have to wonder if they decided to show that because they were originally planning to adapt this as an adaptation of that plot, again, if it was already done somewhere else. I have to imagine they were planning to do it like that, and then Jin thought of the idea of, well, what if we do a whole original thing in this one? But we because I can only imagine that has to be what happened, because why would we spend so much time with that backstory if we were just going to undo all of that? I don't know. I don't know how else to explain that. Other than like the other theory that Ari said, which is, you know, a message about how no matter the circumstances, these characters will end up the way that they are, as like a thematic thing, which we have not really delved into as anything beyond that. Like, that'd be a cool idea if we actually did anything with that. We're not really, though, I think, is my problem. Yeah. What were you going to say, Andy?
I was going to say that, and this is talking way more generally, and this is me stating something. This isn't necessarily contributing to the conversation. Anyway, I feel like that style of writing is extremely present in manga. I felt that exact way about Summertime Rendering, Dorohedoro. I felt that way about Black Butler, where they start out with something and it gets picked up by publishers and it's really popular, and they didn't think about where to go with it. So then they have to do something like the ending with Dorohedoro, which was fine, but a little weird, or the ending of Summertime Rendering, which I have comparisons from Shide that I have to the villain here, where it's just like, it feels like they didn't plan anything.
What are you cooking?
No, I feel you. Yeah, I feel that.
My thing with Shide is just that they both felt like there was no good justification for their actions.
Okay.
I think we called Shide really childish at the end of Summertime Rendering. That is exactly how I feel about this character.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
it's just
this character, this bad guy this week we got a little more understanding about why he's doing the things he's doing, and his explanation for it was very wordy, but it all kind of boiled down to basically
He starts
we're
monologuing.
snakes made by the Medusa that basically created the world, and we're meant to grant wishes, but once we do, we disappear. So I don't feel like disappearing. So I feel like I don't feel like disappearing, and yet I also want to fulfill my master's wish. So I will reset things so that I can exist while still granting the wish by not granting the wish or something like that. I was kind of getting lost a little bit with his wording of it. This series is doing. This is one thing I was going to mention. This series is doing the other thing that I was worried about, and I've warned about for several weeks, where it's like, okay, it's gonna try to explain some things at the very, very end. It's gonna load all of its reveal about these things at the very end, and it's not gonna be well thought out. It's not gonna be well explained. Here, they're trying to do like weirdly vague wording of things as if we're like a volume 4 villain trying to hint at the future events or whatever. Bro, we're in the end game here. You can't be talking with all this weird coded language with this shit. Just say what the fuck your plan was here. And like it sounds like he was trying to say like I just don't want to die. And so I'm creating this loop to happen so that I will not die, or what, I don't want to disappear. All the other snakes may be happy with granting the wishes and then disappearing. I am not, and so I will reset shit over and over again. That's my understanding of what his motivation is with all this stuff. I don't know if that's even accurate though, because he's being weird about it. Because he's also taking his fucking time resetting it too. I was under the impression that we were stuck on the events not going past a certain day. What was it, like August 16th or whatever? But we've gone like 3 days past that now. So I'm like,
yeah,
I don't even know anymore. What's the deal here? I don't understand. Yeah, and also apparently the clearing snake doesn't have to exist in that one body. It can change bodies, I guess. I'm not sure if we've combined Hibaya and Konoha. Whatever Kuroha looks like now, the bad guy, we'll call him, like, he looks like a weird, fucked up, and evil version of a Medusa or whatever, I guess. Because Marie is also turning into a Medusa right now. So I'm just like, I don't...
Well, she's trying her best. It's not quite working, but she's trying her best.
Because we had several other things happen in the time skip past the 3 episodes, which we didn't see, but we just see the aftermath of it, which is just that the Mikaku Shinan is all still fucking depressed over Kido dying, and then they're like everything else happening or whatever, but they're mostly like focused on that. Mary's just in bed, won't do shit, looks like she's like shedding her snake skin or becoming like transforming fully into snake or whatever. Like they have supposedly given up is what it looks like. They're just down in the dumps. They're just it's all fucked there. Shintaro is in his room being dark and creepy at the computer, trying to look through surveillance footage or whatever to, I assume, try to find the bad guy, and or where the Mikaku Shinan went or whatever, and is being really mean to Eine on the computer, be like, shut the fuck up or whatever. I'm doing this. I'm gonna go try to avenge my sister because she's
going
dead.
hacker mode. Shut up.
Yeah.
Hacker mode, go.
Which we did also get a bit more backstory here about Momo and Shintaro as well. There's a little flashback of them as kids. And the flashback was like they went to make mud balls together after Momo cried, and then the one of the parents almost got angry at Shintaro for making her cry or whatever. So they go make mud balls, and they're like, haha, I'm gonna go swimming with Dad in a week or whatever, but you're not going. But you know, it's fine. You're always better than me at everything, but I'm gonna learn how to swim before you, and then I'll teach you, okay? All right, yeah, it's a promise, okay? The dad died in that beach trip because the daughter
trying to save her from drowning.
Yeah, trying to save her because they were having issues, and she was like drifting out into the ocean or whatever. So the dad went to save her, got caught in a wave, and then fucking died. So we just cut to like a funeral, and then hearing that, and obviously she's blaming herself for it or whatever. And that's where we got like some backstory about the trauma regarding those two, for set up for some of that.
And how she got her eyes.
Yeah. Yep. Because she would have gotten her eyes from that incident. And yeah, so, like, we get that backstory, and then today Shintaro is just looking into that stuff, and this is where Aine decides to reveal her backstory to, like, explain her backstory to Shintaro, bring Shintaro to the hospital, which apparently Aine's still alive?
That was wild.
I'm very confused. Several layers, because I know we didn't
She
get an
broke her
explanation.
neck.
She broke her neck. Yes. I didn't
And
remember.
hot take, her neck should be healed by this point.
Well,
Well,
I don't know about.
Uh,
It depends on the circumstances of that. I don't know how that works. I'm not a doctor, but if she broke her neck from falling off a 6-story building or something, I don't know what it should be healed by now percentage should be up. All I know is she's in a computer now, so I don't know how that happened. The eyes, I guess. I think they
There's no
said
evil scientist.
yeah, well, I think this time, in this loop at least, it was... Actually, I don't even know if it was revealed that the scientist turned her into software in the first loop, now that I think about it now, because seemingly in this loop, it was explained that...
yeah, they heavily implied it.
Yeah,
but
Yeah.
right. Here, I think they revealed in some line that, like... or somebody did, I don't know who did. It sounded like somebody had said that a certain set of eyes had made her a program. I thought I had seen that. I wasn't sure. Because seemingly it was, or maybe I was getting that confused with Konoha's story. But my assumption was that the near-death incident regarding her body caused her to awaken to her eyes, and the eyes, whatever eyes she got, caused her to create her form somewhere else, and this form was created on digitally, I guess. I'm not even sure if that's like I remember now. It was something about like their soul going somewhere else, or moving your soul out of your body, or your spirit out of your body. That's the line I'm remembering. I don't remember who says it or when, but it was something about like your soul being somewhere else at the time. So like she's having an out of body experience type thing. Which I guess would also, imply that that's probably what happened to her in the first loop too. I'm not exactly sure though, but
And we never will be.
Well, we know that she's not currently dead. In this loop, at least, she's in a hospital. Something happened with her, and she's in a hospital now. I don't remember if it was ever told to us what happened.
Not yet, because I think it implies that she lets herself die so that her eyes can become part of Marie, so Marie can continue her transformation into Medusa or whatever.
Right. So I think yeah, because we're at the point now where for they believe to defeat the big bad, they have to give Marie enough powers, not all of the powers, because they don't all want to die, but a few powers.
Not dying is good.
I guess each of the members of the group who die, their powers get absorbed by Mary somehow through a process. They return to Mary, and so Mary has these abilities now. And we have like a semi fight towards the very end, not really a fight yet, but more so setting it up, where like the bad guy shows up, realize he's been tricked into actually going to meet up. Mary's not actually there. Mary's projecting herself there through Aine's powers, and then using a combination of the concealing eyes to conceal everything around the bad guy, while using the drawing eyes on herself, meaning Mary's the only thing that the bad guy can focus on right now. And I assume that's to also stack on the paralyzing eyes, or whatever her eyes are called, to like hold him in place or whatever. I assume we're using these in combination, which is kind of cool. That should be like pretty powerful enough to try to do something at least. I like that idea. I think it's pretty cool. I don't know what the rules are with that. So because my understanding, seemingly, it seems that the bad guy has absorbed Hibiya and Konoha into this Kuroha person or whatever. So I assume that he's able to do the same thing in a way. I'm not sure entirely.
Maybe?
I'm not sure how that works. Like, does it matter how the person dies in order to give the abilities over to Mary? Because my understanding would be if they die at all, their powers go to Mary. But seemingly, the bad guy here has powers now too, so more powers than he currently had. So
fire combined them. That's why the truck
exploded.
Impressively, in the first loop, his only power was gun. So that's all you needed in the first loop, which is fire. It's fire. It involves fire. So it does involve fire. So
I was willing. I was open and willing to write away the absorption thing into Mary because she was Azami's descendant. Like, I think she's her granddaughter or something.
Sure.
Yeah.
So it would make sense that the powers would return to her as like Azami's current vessel or something, like bloodline in the world.
Yeah.
It's called DNA.
Supposedly, my understanding is they're all connected to the Kagerou Daze like realm. The Kagerou Daze seemingly is like a realm where the snake powers are held, and like specifically where
I keep forgetting that's part of this.
Yeah, like supposedly this is a realm that exists that like several people are like trapped in or whatever. It seems because of the wish for eternal life, people are trapped in there. I don't know who specifically is trapped in there now, but specifically people were trapped in there. And I assume these powers are being borrowed from that realm, and so if one of them dies, it returns to that realm, and that's how Mary gets them. That's my assumption.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, and Hiyori showed up with Ayano. They have like a apology meeting with Ayano and Kano and Seto. They're all like making friends again after everything that. Which again, I still feel like how they presented Ayano hating them and like they all have the falling out is really awkward. Like, and Andy, I don't think you were here when we had these discussions or whatever, because it was like last week's reveals with these things, but it was like the car accident or mudslide accident, like whatever accident killed Ayano's parents, which was the evil doctor guy and his wife or whatever. The car accident that killed them, Mary was in the car accident with them. Mary and Ayano supposedly were the only survivors. Ayano survived by obtaining her eyes, favoring eyes or whatever. She got eyes through that. That's the only way she survived that incident.
Right.
And they returned back, and she's like, it's all your fault why my parents had to die. I hate all of you. And then they like go their separate ways for all this time after this, because she just wants nothing to do with them anymore and basically lives on her own since then. And like then all these incidents happen. She shows up, and I already felt like it was kind of like, it didn't feel like in that first backstory that would be the kind of person that Ayano would be. I never got the feeling that she would blame all of them for why her parents would die. And I didn't know how much of that was influenced by whatever process through the Kagerou Daze gave her the favoring eyes, or having the favoring eyes in general. Like, I wasn't sure how much of that was influenced by it, but I just knew that like when she came back and basically blamed them all, it felt very awkward and not correct for what should be happening with her or whatever. So I was very confused by that. And now we get them coming back and like being like, oh yeah, we're good now. It's all good now. And like, I don't know.
So
it felt awkward to me.
thought the implication was that Ayano, in those moments where she was having her near-death experience, she spent like eons in the Kagerou Daze just watching Azami's life over and over and over and over again. And that's what gave her the favoring eyes. But it's described that the Kagerou Daze, those few minutes were in reality, you're only there for maybe a minute or two as your body is getting accustomed. But your soul, it's described this way to Hibiya, I think. Your soul spends an eternity undergoing this crazy, traumatic, just like spiraling of torture, like psychological torture essentially, before you're just dropped back into your body. And
Right.
that's what Ayano was reacting to when she lashed out and Mary and the others. And then as she came to adjust to what the favoring eyes meant, what she was able to do, as she got used to being able to navigate Azami's memories, she came to terms with the fact that, like, okay, like, that wasn't the right thing for me to do in that situation. It's not their fault that this is like this. And they were able, and her being able to come to terms with it after she learned what she went through is what allowed her to then mend those relationships.
I see.
Was how I read it.
I took it as that, yeah, she did. I don't know if it was eons, but she did describe it as like a very long time where she felt like she was going to go insane, being stuck there. But I read it more as like she was mad solely at Mary and blaming her for it, and then everyone else being like, no, wait, what? No. Her kind of lashing out is like, well, why are you mad at me? She's the one doing this. So I kind of read it more as her being mad at Mary specifically and only mad at the others as a response to their response to her, if that makes sense.
I see. I understand.
But yeah, pretty much that where it's like, I still don't really quite understand her character in this loop. Like, she should be more traumatized.
Yeah, for real. I don't.
It's quite a line out of context. Yeah.
Look, the book club has the best out of context lines. All right.
I mean, like, you've gone and like so long, and they like seeing those scenes that you've almost gone insane, and she acts too normal. Okay,
she acts too normal.
She needs to be a bit more broken. Just as a treat.
Yeah.
Not as a treat to her, to us.
To us.
Oh, okay. All right.
Well, because it almost seems like Mary is the blood descendant of Azami, but like Ayano was the one that really like understood Azami in essence, because she was the one that witnessed Azami's life. Meanwhile, Mary is just living from the consequences of it, which I like to me is fundamentally a different understanding of that like life scenario, right?
Two very different understandings,
Yeah,
both equally important, but
you know, the parts aren't, some of the parts, there's a saying here somewhere, the sum of the parts is greater than the individual or something.
The sum of the parts is greater than the whole?
Yeah, I think that's it.
I think that's correct. Yeah.
I think that's what the saying is.
Yeah,
but like the idea that, I guess what I was getting there was the idea that you have to. I'm putting way more thought into this than they did, but the idea that you have to have all of the snakes in conjunction with each other in order for there to be something whole and that can fully understand. So Mary and Ayano, they each have their own understanding, and the Clearing Eye Stake also has his own understanding of Azami's reality, but they can't coexist when they're separate, I guess.
Wow, never truly being able to understand another person's feelings and thoughts. This is just like My Cousin Rachel by Daphne du Maurier in 1953.
Okay, all right.
We'll see, the joke is.
Yeah.
Oh, I wasn't going to explain to you.
So the chat said, "Chat, remember, you're the one that bans
I know.
comparisons."
I know. Listen. It's more creative. I'll give it that. It's more creative.
It's something special, all right.
I will accept it. It's you know.
Ninja Turtles episode like that.
here's another thing I want to bring up: the length of these volumes. We're in the final
So
volumes.
small.
These are the shortest volumes of the whole series so far. They were like
120
120 pages each. Are you serious? We're in the finale.
And-
What are you doing?
And me and Andy were mentioning it briefly, how the art quality has dropped significantly.
Thanks.
That art.
It is
Mwah.
very
10 out of
sad
10.
to see what is clearly a rushed manga. Because,
Yeah.
like, it got... Because I was reading volume 11, the ebook version, and, you know, I mean, that's smaller because I'm reading it on my phone, and I'm like, these panels look kind of bad. Maybe I'm just being overcritical tonight. And then I just kept reading. I was like, oh no, these were rushed to hell and back.
It felt like a lot of, especially with like the environments, it felt like a lot of details that would have been there in the first volumes just weren't included.
You know, and it's impressive. The quality got worse, and the length got lower too. How they do it?
Yeah,
You think it's one or the other?
it makes me
Somehow
feel
it's
bad
both.
because I hate it. I really hate seeing rushed manga endings, especially, and that is very clearly what's happening here.
Sure.
Speaking of rush manga,
We don't know if the writing was rushed because this is very clearly just, you know, it's his, you know, AUs of his beloved OCs. I really
Sure.
can't knock that too much, but the art definitely in these volumes was very rushed.
Now,
And that's just sad to see.
it is very sad, and I don't remember if this was like a monthly release for this stuff or what. I know it went from 2012 to 2019, the manga series in general, so maybe it was a monthly release or something.
Yeah.
But the one thing I do remember
Which
is
a bit
one of the
long for the length, but
sure. That's where it more makes me think maybe it's like a monthly release or something with because we ended up with like 64 chapters in the end. So something like, or I'm sorry, not
Nice.
64, 70 chapters in the end. 64 was where we ended
Not
this
nice.
week, I think. So and one of the volume afterwards, I remember it mentioned that the artist specifically had some delays because they just had a child. So I don't know how much of that is impacting this as well, like balancing having to deal with manga deadlines of a serialized release and also raising a child and any other stuff you're trying to do to like survive or whatever. It's a lot of pressure and a lot of stuff going on. So, you know, I don't know how much of that is factoring into what happened with this, because I also don't know how much of this stuff was actually delayed as it was releasing and stuff like that too. And I don't know anything about the actual release schedule or whatever, but the end result is noticeable, where it's less pages for things and interesting choices with some of the panels, I guess. I think, you know,
volume 12 ended up like there's some really good NA shots, some good Mary shots.
Yeah.
But volume 11 was the more noticeable of the rushed ones.
Right.
So hopefully volume 13 will be more in line with volume 12.
Volume
where-
13, which I don't know how many pages it is, but has condensed the entire final showdown into 7 chapters.
We'll get there next week. Woo!
We're supposed to get the climax,
Hey,
the
listen.
falling action, and the resolution.
Hey, listen.
in
All right.
7
They ended the first loop with a dude showing up with a gun. All right. That guy, he handled it pretty quickly. We can probably do the same here. Okay. We just introduce a gun somehow.
So sad. I'm so
Actually, you know-
sad because that was the best part of this manga.
was
That was insane. That was just wonderful. Not because the characters died, but also because the characters died, and it was awesome.
Oh my god.
No, like it's a time loop. Like we knew they were going to die,
Yep.
and the way they went out was just sudden. It was spectacular. It was scary.
I still
It was
remember
out of
he's
nowhere,
like
so
shooting
you
them
had to
and
think
crushing
about it.
Aine on the cell phone. You've seen Aine crying as she's being crushed as a cell phone. And I'm just like,
It
this is
was
amazing.
nuts.
It was good. It was
Hey, Ari.
exciting.
I want more wild shit like that. And we kind of got
God, I
that.
wish we off the phone.
and we kind of got that with I'm gonna jump into the truck. Whoops, the truck fucking exploded somehow.
Look, chat. Truck-kun lost for once, alright? We take those.
Like I said, steel pedestrians.
I was like, I don't remember trucks being that flammable like that. I don't remember them exploding if they hit anything. I don't remember that happening. But
How many times have you hit a truck?
none. But I you know, it's true.
That's what happened when I got hit by a truck.
Not
Oh.
only that, but that the kid that they
It's 'cause
hit
you're
was
built
like
different, Anne. Okay.
what, 12? Not to discuss the physics of hitting a
Sure, I'm
12-year-old
part
with a
robot.
truck, but a 12-year-old should not be dense enough to do that to a truck.
Built
I-
different.
That's true. That's true. This
Look,
this
Andy,
12-year-old,
just
mind you.
because you couldn't do that to a truck doesn't mean that anyone
Now,
else.
hold on.
could.
Now, hold on. This 12-year-old, mind you, who prior to getting hit by that truck could not leave the grasp of Konoha unless they pretended to be a 12-year-old again. They could not
Yeah.
leave his grasp.
What's not clicking?
There's things happening here.
Built different.
And
True.
tell you something.
Huh? What? Hi.
You
It's
know
me.
what fixed Rosenbane's ending?
Oh boy.
No.
I think it would have fixed Rosenmaiden's ending if there had just been like a sudden alien invasion, like a UFO just shooting a laser that like nuked
See, I know what you're
the
referencing.
entire
It's the
city.
problem.
Yeah, I know.
What the hell is?
This is like
Zombieland Saga is a
wizard battle.
really good
Oh,
series.
oh, I haven't seen it in a while, so I
Oh my
completely forgot that stuff. But
gosh.
I remember now that you brought it up. Okay, I remember.
I don't know how you forgot that fucking ending because I have
I
not
don't-
stopped thinking about it for like half a
I-
decade.
Listen, okay, a lot of things have happened in between for me. Okay, a
No,
lot of
that's
a
fair.
lot of different media I've consumed since then has it does this to me. Anyways, Zombieland Saga is incredible, though. I will say that. Go check it out.
Is there manga
It
for
is
it?
genuinely
Can I read
really
at some
good, but
point?
that
Which
fucking ending is.
which also opens with an incredible truck scene. Okay, also opens with an
Ooh.
incredible.
Oh, that's
truck
true.
scene.
That's an all timer.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite gifts for that. Anyways, the Kagerou
It's a
Daze
good
was
gift, but I do feel like you need the music also.
that's true. The music makes
Because it does
good,
just
yeah.
immediately launch into the fucking like metal screaming.
That's true. So, anyways, the Kagerou Daze was the friends we made along the way.
The explosions we made along the way.
Oh, true. I
The,
like
the violence we did along the way.
Of which, in my opinion, there were not enough of.
true.
Yeah.
Should've been
I-
more.
Because that is
Yeah.
one important thing I will say too. I think it's really cool that we ended this with like trying to smartly use the powers together in like a way for like a fight to begin. I wanted that constantly or like more.
A while ago.
Yeah.
Like I get that we're finally getting that for the big final fight, I guess, but I don't know. I feel like it would have been cooler to see those powers being used. We only really got to see these powers used in interesting ways, really, here, and then in the hostage situation.
In the
That's
first
pretty much
loop,
it.
which is non-canon.
Which the hostage situation one of them doing that, like, it didn't even seem like it was really utilizing them smartly. It seemed like the tutorial level of them using their abilities together.
Also, I like to mention Luke too. Konoha just kind of handles it. No problem.
Yeah. In
Yeah.
the second loop, he just showed up and saved them, I guess. That's how he met up with the group.
It's very impressive.
You know,
You guys didn't do a whole stealth thing. I could just punch real good. Hey, it worked.
I mean, that's how they solve it in JoJo. You know, I mean, yeah. So, what else was there to discuss? We discussed the short length, weird art choices. We discussed the explosion trucks.
The truck.
We discussed
Yeah.
Ane's story stuff being revealed here.
Oh, okay. Why did she die?
I had assumed, so this hasn't been revealed to us yet, I don't believe. I had assumed that Ane in this timeline, after having not building up the courage to visit Konoha before he decided to kill himself had also attempted to kill herself. And that's where she ended up probably also trying to jump out a window, and then she managed to survive it in that scene. That's my
There's a lot of
assumption.
suicide.
No, not her. Ene.
I
Why did Ene die in these volumes?
I assumed it was because she fulfilled her wish.
Yeah, that's what. Which
But
you bring up a
why
good
did
point.
she
No, yes,
choose now?
that is a good point. That scene felt like bullshit to me because it felt like a whole. I have realized I have fulfilled the wish a while ago, so I'm going to disappear now because I'm now conscious of the fact that I fulfilled the wish, and I'm just, we're doing this. This is how we're doing this.
Your friend, who you say is now your only living friend, he has just lost his sister. He is not well at all. He's not sleeping at all. He is dead set on revenge. And you're like, you know what would make his life better?
If I
kill myself. Ene, sweetie, what was?
I mean,
what does she mean by this?
What does the author mean by this? Actually, hold on. You gotta go back.
And I do like. I think Ene and Momo are my favorites in this series. Well, Kido. I really like Kido, but they're all dead now, so it doesn't matter. But I'm just like, why did she die in these? She's just all of a sudden like, oh, it's my time to go. I'm sorry, your sister's dead, but you'll be fine without me and any friends at all.
The other annoying thing about that is maybe I would have understood that if the plan was to sacrifice herself to give Mary her powers. They hadn't discussed that with them at all.
Yeah.
She just died, and then Shintaro walked over to them, and they were like, all right, so this is a plan. So like,
it's
okay.
Convenient.
All right,
yeah, it
all right.
becomes less of Ene sacrificing herself to save others and more, oh, well, that's convenient.
Yeah.
That Ene just happened to die just now.
My assumption with
I would
that...
have been fully fine with it if she had already known and been like, okay, they will need this. I'll be the sacrifice. I have fulfilled my wish. I'm happy with this. But they don't. And it's just another one of those things where it felt like this would have been an easy fix.
So I
it wasn't.
I think I have an idea what they were trying for. I think they were trying to, because Shintaro very clearly right before that, because we saw the very dark-looking panel of him in front of a computer angrily typing away to try to find the dude who killed his sister. And, like, clearly he's out for blood, he's out for revenge, he's out for this stuff for very, like, bad reasons or whatever, bad mindset going on with him, that Ene can clearly see and is trying to, like, get him to chill the fuck out on with some of that stuff. And so she decides to reveal about herself, take him to there, show him her real body, explain the situation to him. I assume it was one, to try to get him to stop trying to go after the bad guy for the wrong reasons. And a mixture of that, plus wanting to move on and be with Haruka, who confuses me though, because we get a whole shot of her with Haruka, but then I'm just like, wait a minute, Konoha was still a thing. I think I don't know how that works with that. Are they both actually dead now, or is Konoha still living in as Konoha being controlled? Because the bad guy is talking to himself as if he's inside of him. So.
And then it's like, okay, well, then if Haruka is dead, but Konoha is still alive, then does that mean that Ene and Takane are different people as well? And like,
no.
Like, it's just like, well, that was a kind of sweet moment, but wait, I have questions.
I'm confused.
In the end, with that, I assume it's supposed to be a thing for the viewers to be able to see a nice panel of Ene meeting up with Honoka to play games together like they promised or whatever.
It's just supposed to be cute, yeah.
It's supposed to be like that while also having an excuse for Ene's eyes to go to Mary, I guess. It's supposed to be that. Would have made more sense if we had known about the plan to transfer the powers over to Mary beforehand, so that it was more like a sacrifice to do that. Would have helped with that ordering of things, but whatever, I guess. Fuck it. It was a cute panel of them being together, at least, again, so there's that. And again, even the death scene, like how the art was done with the death scene of her, like, disappearing all digitally, I thought that was pretty cool. I thought that was very nice.
Yeah, those were some nice panels.
Yeah.
I can see where the effort of the art panels went.
Yeah,
Went to the important stuff.
Yeah, there's just so much... like... I'm trying to piece together what our aim is with this story overall, thematically, like what the message is supposed to be here, because
my OCs are
cool.
maybe, because I'm just like, I can't fully accept the idea of, the changing backstories, meaning a big theme is how fate will just guide these people to the same destination. Anything. I can't really accept that here, because that seems more like just some writer's excuse for why we wanted to just do a different original story after the first loops. I can't really accept that here.
No, to be clear, when I say that, I don't mean it as like a big
no,
theme.
but I think about that too.
I think it'd be cool. That's how I feel like the writer was.
There's a lot of talks now about wishes and fulfillment, and I thought about this stuff too, right? Because the evil snake's main whole thing is like, if we fulfill the wishes, we disappear or whatever, and I don't want to disappear or something like that. I thought to myself, maybe we should be granting these wish fulfillment things to not just anybody, but like specifically children, because they're just like, we wanted to grant this girl Momo wanted to be seen, so we gave her attention or whatever. This person didn't want to be perceived, so we just made it so that nobody could perceive her anymore or something like that. Like, it's supposed to be trying to do a what would you call it, monkey's paw kind of thing? Well, Wheat Cross would begin the... Wheat Cross gets asked for... I mean, that is what they do in Wheat Cross as well. It's, like a Wheat Cross, Madoka thing. Like, a lot of those Magical Girl kind of series do that as well, where it's like, you can get your wish granted as long as you do this thing, and then they make the wish turn backwards on you or something like that. They do that in, like, a lot of the series, and that's clearly what they were setting up to do here. And I'm just like... Okay, but we seem to have a pattern of only doing this to small children who just barely survive, and small children tend to have very bad ideas or short-sighted ideas for what they want in this life. But even their like desires here with these children, they're like very vague desires in general for things, vague enough to where anything could happen with them, I guess. And the snake guy has decided to explain this in a way that I felt was like evil, where it's like, we're just granting your wishes. This is what you wanted, right? You just wanted it like this, right? And I'm just, okay, all right. I don't know what to think about that kind of stuff. Because it's one of those things where that also doesn't seem to be the goal of the message of this story. This seems like an afterthought that the bad guy is saying for why he's doing the things he's doing, but not in a way that like he wants to do anything about that, because the focus of that is not so about granting their wishes. It's so that he can live. It's not about the wish granting or the thinking about the things you wish for at all. That's not the point of this. The point of that explanation is just for the evil snake guy to say, I want to live longer, and the only way for me to live longer is to not grant that wish while also granting that wish, or something along those lines, was how I understood it. I could be completely wrong about that, because it was very confusing how he was explaining that situation, but that's how it seemed to me. And I don't know what people thought about that otherwise, because it was very much confusing me what we were trying to get at, other than my OCs are cool. So I don't know. I guess the OCs are cool. I just wish I got to know some of them more.
OCs are cool. I do still like the characters, even if I'm not really I'm kind of like how Shino was describing Pandora Hearts. Like, I'm just here for the vibes at this point.
Memes.
Like, I wasn't
here for
really understanding the Steam. Fuck you. The snake. I wasn't really getting quite all of that. Like, okay, so this is one of the powers who is trying to fulfill Azami's wish, but clearly they have kind of lost the plot a lot.
The marbles, they're all gone.
Yeah, and yeah, like I get it, but also I'm kind of like, okay.
Yeah. I don't know what to think about where this is going to end with.
Yeah.
Again,
Look,
my
I
only
think
assumption at this point is that
anything can happen.
again, my assumption is because both Momo and Kido are dead, we're going to probably find a way to, because, okay, and I guess I'll go back to my rant slightly again. Another message thing that is kind of brought up here is about how they are going to try to defeat the big bad, specifically so they can continue on in their future.
Yeah.
But that is accepting that Momo and Kido are dead and will stay dead, which would be an interesting way to view these things if that's where they're aiming to go. But again, my thoughts are that they're still going to just try to find a way to reset it or try to bring them back somehow through this process, which would kind of defeat that point. It would, like, it's either going to be they're going to try to reset the timeline still, but, like, this time everything's going to be fine, or they're going to try to, like, stop the big bad from resetting the timeline, but we're going to bring back Momo and Kido. I don't think we end the series with Momo and Kido staying dead with this timeline. I mean, at least at this point, I don't think that's how they would want to end it. Because
that would
this
be nuts.
Right. That'd
be really funny.
That'd be really
It
funny,
would be
though.
kind of funny.
But if it did end it with them staying dead, I think I would kind of respect the authors for that, because it would be going along with the idea that they presented here towards the end of them just saying the evil snake bad guy's ideology is wanting to reset things because it is not a world where he can live forever, and it is not the perfect world for his master to live, Azami or whatever, or I guess Mary at this point is his master now or whatever. And he's doing this because of his worldview that, like, this is not the world that deserves her or something, so we'll just reset the world and we'll do it until I can live forever
She's
or
lost
something.
her vision because of
Yeah.
this world, so
Right.
she shouldn't be in it.
You have
Shouldn't
to pull the
exist.
scope knife.
Yeah. And like, that ideology versus the ideology of we should continue on despite our past mistakes, like, that would be a cool message to end on if we ended like that. I doubt they would do it because it's not a very happy ending. In general, it's gonna, like, I feel like there's ways to frame it as a happy ending, but this in general feels like a fan experience. You know, like, this is the AU for fans of the original stuff to experience bonus memes of the original stuff, and I kind of doubt that they would leave it like that at the very end. But although I don't remember how the other series end, so I don't know if that's what we're used to around here or not. I know we're used to Kagerou Daze being dark at times, of course, but I don't know if we're used to it ending dark. But I would kind of be okay with it if we did end like that, I think, because I kind of like that message, and it could be easily framed right with that, where it's like, despite our past mistakes, we're gonna move on anyways and do our best again the next day. You know, and then we zoom into the calendar going the next day over in the loop, even though we're already 3 days past the loop. I'm so mad about that still, okay? I'm so mad about that.
That was a weird detail.
That would have been so great as, like, a final thing to really finish the series. Like, zoom in on the calendar going the next day, or, like, just hearing them say that they're on the next day or something at the last chapter or something. That would have been very nice. And I mean, it would have been predictable.
Redacted.
Okay, listen. But, you know, Those are my kind of thoughts on the next volume, the finale volume stuff, I guess. I don't know. How is everybody else feeling about the next volume stuff and your thoughts on that, I guess? Because I don't know where we go from here. I am excited to see the big...
Volume 13.
I am excited to see the big battle, or how we're
I
gonna
hope those
do
World
it.
War II Japanese aircraft.
Oh my god, summertime rendering, let's go.
Might see some reptiles like in
Maybe. It's possible. It's possible.
It's all coming together.
And then at the very end, they're in a movie theater. They walk out of the movie theater like it's Fire Punch. Yeah, that's just how it is.
That's
And
an
then
old book club.
Shintaro gets a doll in the mail.
It's all connected.
You also get a gold bar.
Monkey was also in the movie theater.
Oh my god. And then from the ocean comes out Aine as a mer person now.
My expectations are not high. I'm kind of dreading it because I'm worried about how bad it's gonna be.
Wait, hold on, Andy. Wait. By combining all the snake elements, we get the null attribute.
True! That's kind of what he looks like, though. Like, you're not even that wrong. That's kind of what the Kagerou Daze is, if you think about it.
You know what? I just remembered another. I just remembered another panel that happened this week. It was like or maybe it was like an afterward bonus meme image or whatever. It's a shot of 4 people's backs, and it's Haruka, Shintaro, Aine, and Ayano. You see all their backs together. And I remember looking at this and thinking to myself, I don't know who's who except Ayano. Because Ayano's got the hair clips in. And I'm just like, I can't tell the 2 boys apart. One of them slightly taller than the other one. They look exactly the fucking same from behind. And Aine, I'm just like, maybe that's Aine. It's hard to tell from behind. I assume it's Aine if the other boys here. One of these boys could also be Seto with Ayano, maybe, but I'm assuming it's Shintaro. Because I remember we've had this discussion quite a few times where we're just like, 3 of these boys look exactly the same. Haruka, Shintaro, Seto, they just all look the same. Yeah. I saw that panel and I was like, okay, who is who? Is Haruka supposed to be taller than Shintaro? Konoha's taller, so maybe it is Konoha?
See, this is what they should take a book out Doro's book. We just have a bonus meme comparing the heights, so you know who's who.
I also thought this wasn't relevant to me because I was sitting down and reading it all basically in one sitting. But I thought that it was not a good sign that every volume started with a very in-depth rundown of what had happened in the previous
the
volumes.
last time on Dragon Ball
because
Z.
I can absolutely understand like a lot of times, you know, starting with maybe the last few panels of what happened, but I skipped those because I was reading them all basically all in one sitting, and it was like 3 or 4 pages of synopsis.
What is in volume 12? I was flipping through it and I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
And I was like, that.
Now, I will say, and I said this in previous episodes that you weren't here for, Andy, I appreciated those when we were loading in all of the backstory in between the actual main events happening, because they helped me realize, oh wait, this is all the shit that's actually happened in the fucking present. Now we've kind of chilled out on the backstory, which I guess there's something to say about that. We've kind of chilled out on the backstory, except for we got a little bit about Momo, but it was like very short at least. So I will say I was kind of okay with that because we actually got to progress the present, I guess. But that stuff was very much helpful to me when we just kept jumping to backstory for entire volumes. And I'm just like, have we made any progress in the present? Because again, you read all of this at once. We're reading this 2 volumes a week. We're just like, nothing fucking happened this week in the present for like several weeks.
And I'm starting to feel like I definitely would have been more annoyed if I had tried to read this at a rate of 2 volumes a week.
Yeah.
I
this
finished
was one of the few where we could have read 3 volumes.
I finished the reading for this week, and I was like, I could just read the 3rd volume and the last volume, and we could talk about it, and that could be book club.
I think even Elizabeth in the Discord chat, who I think only learned about book club like last night, supposedly read all of the series to get caught up. Most of the series get caught up like today, like in a day. So like it's pretty short to read through this. It's pretty quick, and these last volumes again were shorter than you would expect for a finale, which, you know, I don't know.
Yeah,
in a way I like that. I like it being an easy read in some ways, I always think back to this compared to Sailor Moon, where there's a lot loaded into that on each page because they had a lot to do per chapter for that. So it's a lot harder it's a lot more bulky to read through that compared to this, which has very different pacing for its events and stuff. I in ways I like it, but then in cases like this, where we take that time where it's very easy to read through, because we're not taking a lot of time to sit down on things. We're spending most of that time on backstories, which may or may not just get undone later anyways. It kind of annoys me when we do that several times. Yeah, I think my biggest thing here, I think my biggest complaint with this series so far is we needed smarter choices on the backstories we were presenting at times. They were nice when what we experienced, but I think we could have picked better ones to go through, perhaps, for thing, or not spent as much time on one of them to have time for a different one, which would advance another character or whatever. Because I don't know, I still feel like I don't know a lot about some of these characters, like Momo especially. We got a little bit of backstory for her this week, but I want far more about her in general. I liked Momo, and I didn't really get to learn shit about her too much, personally, I guess. So I don't know. Shadow, you were gonna say something?
I'd be interested to like if someone actually did like the math on like backstory to non-backstory and see the calculation on
What
that.
the ratio is?
Yeah,
I mean,
the ratio.
At this point, it probably comes out to about even because these last volumes seemingly are focused more on the present, so it probably kind of cancels out. But
Watch 4 of the 7 chapters of the last volume be backstory.
I do expect there's gonna be probably like some form of backstory, potentially more so for Shintaro to end the series at least before we get into the finale. That's my assumption. I don't know for sure. I just know he's supposedly our main protagonist, so we're probably gonna have more of a backstory about him before the story ends at least. But yeah.
Now I'm curious. How many pages is the last volume?
It's probably 120 again. If I had to guess.
Oh, one was shorter though. That'd be very funny.
That'd be crazy.
It's like
Actually,
5 pages. My software will tell me it is 160 pages. The final volume.
Okay.
So we get a little bit
bad,
more.
I guess. Yeah.
It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
It's in Rosen Maiden where it's like half the size of the others.
It's got 6 chapters, one of which is called Additional Memory, which does not have a chapter number with it. I don't know if that's an epilogue or something. So yeah, I don't know if it's bonus memes or an epilogue, but there you go. But that's next week's.
And there is 4 pages of recap. So don't worry, guys, if you forgot.
Which I did. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I forgot all about that. I mean, again, I wouldn't mind the story so far things that they're doing, especially with how long it is.
What do you mean long? This is one of the shorter things we've done, chat.
No, how long the story so far pages are. It's a growing. Normally, I'll explain this, Shadow. Normally in the story so far, as they're like last time on Dragon Ball Z or whatever, it's literally only focused on what just happened in the last volume. Not here's everything that's happened in this loop so far in the present. Yeah, so it's long, and maybe I wouldn't mind it. I have to wonder why we made it that long though. Like, is it just for like anybody to be able to jump to that volume to just know?
But also, why would you do that? Are you insane?
Because I mean, I have to also assume maybe it's because it took so long for that volume to come out compared to the last one or whatever. There's like 13 volumes, and it took them like 7 years to publish all of them. So I don't know. That sounds like 2 volumes a year that got published or something.
Ooh, okay, you know what? Fair enough. I'm not gonna blame him on that.
So maybe it's something like that. People who aren't keeping up with it on like a monthly magazine release or something, if it was even in that, it would be like 6 months since they last read the series potentially. So maybe that's a reason why. I don't know. But
I think there is also just kind of the assumption of Any volume could be someone's first volume,
That's true. That's true.
which
Imagine
guess
sort
it's
of
true.
the end of Movie Neko. Imagine. There's someone out there who's done that.
I will say it would be wild for somebody to pick up volume 13 of this series and just be like, oh, I wonder what's going on here.
What's going on?
like, yeah, but if you can think of a person, they do exist somewhere.
That's true.
Yeah.
Listen, I go to Anime Boston every year. I look through the discount manga piles or whatever, and I usually try to look for volume 1s. Most of that pile is not volume 1s. They're like random volumes in the middle or whatever. So,
Like, if you have ever been in retail or you've heard people talk about retail,
yeah. I guess it would be a selling point, of course, because it's like I assume a problem manga sales typically have is the bulk of your sales are going to be in the first volume, and your sales are going to drop since that volume, probably, because most of the time people are only that are buying volume 2 have typically read volume 1, so they probably have also bought volume 1. So typically, I'd imagine your sales. Obviously, this is also impacted as well by the fact that we have the internet and people can find copies of them digitally in other means or like read somebody else's copy or whatever, of course. But in general, I'd imagine the first volume gets the most sales and the second volume doesn't get as much as the first, but still gets sales, and then so on and so forth, and it dwindles down to the point where the last volume, the last volume probably also gets a ton of sales, because at that point, people who have just heard that the series ends are probably bulk buying the series, or like have jumped into the last volume to buy physically, having read the other volumes in some other means or whatever. So I'd imagine, similar to our views for the Anime Book Club VODs, typically most of our views are in the first episode and the last episode. That's where the bulk of our views typically are on most series. And the idea probably also applies with stuff like that too. So I guess having the synopsises be that long for the ending arc stuff, I guess it makes sense. It's just kind of wild in concept, I guess, for somebody to just pick up. Maybe be more crazier for another series. For Kagerou Daze, I guess I don't really. If you're somebody who knows Kagerou Daze as a series, you're probably just aware of the alternating timeline bullshit, anyways. I guess so. You'd be like, "Fuck it, why not?" So
the only reason I even brought it up was because this series feels. I hate to say it, and this again was probably impacted by me reading it all in one sitting. This series feels too short and too straightforward to justify that much recap every single volume. Even if you're just
You heard it here. Andy said that Kagerou Daze is too straight.
Oh my god.
But like I can understand maybe giving like a summary in like a page. The 13th volume has 4 pages, I counted, of synopsis. It's 13 volumes, bro. And the last 2 are 240 pages total. You do not need that much context for anything.
Like, okay, you could just say the reptiles, they're at it again. That's all you need to know.
I need to read the Spark Notes for the series, man, okay? I can't. All right. Let's see. Turando, I don't think we've heard from you much. Is there any thoughts that you wanted to bring up specifically this week?
Not particularly. Kind of just vibing with the story, to be honest.
Yeah. Because I do notice. Enough. I do notice you posting in the spoiler chat. Sometimes I don't go and read all of it at the time because I haven't finished my reading yet, but I do see your postings in the spoiler chats about that stuff at times. Yeah, the series has very interesting ideas that it tries to present at times, and then I'm always just like, okay, but are they gonna do anything with that? And then usually they don't.
Are they going to do anything with that? No.
It's like,
no,
no, we did this because it is cool. Okay, well. Or not even that's cool. Usually we did this because I thought the fans might like it. Did the fans like it? I'm not like a huge Kagerou Daze head like other people who experience the series might be. So
That's the other thing is like we're definitely being critical. I love being a hater. Okay, I'm a hater before I'm human. But like so much of our experience is impacted by just the fact that we don't have that pre-established attachment to these characters. So it doesn't hold as much weight to us as it would to somebody else.
Yeah, I will say that's why I've been I think pretty quiet this meeting, which is fun. No one needs to hear my fucking thoughts. But
That's how you feel, Anne. Come on.
I mean it's just it is very much like the experience of like reading the Sailor Moon manga. I'm just having a fundamentally different experience. Reading an AU does hit a lot different when you actually know and care about the characters already.
right, sure, yeah.
Like I'm not trying to, and it's like
Yeah, so tell us about it.
Yeah, okay, let me just sit here for the next you guys have like a few hours,
Yes,
right?
tell us.
We do,
That is
actually, yeah, we
literally
do.
the point of book club.
Don't worry. We have plenty of time.
Go ahead.
I'm not joking right now. Like, tell
If you
us.
have something to say, tell us. Like we're here to listen.
The detective spotlight is on you right now, okay?
Oh god.
So what
That
parts?
completely derailed.
What are some parts of this loop that you enjoy more than other versions of this sequence of events?
I think it's just that it is like a fundamentally different series of events. It is yeah, obviously.
So for you like seeing just the different ways it could go down.
It is getting hit with an emotional reaction, like something that doesn't really come up in this version is Ayano and Shintaro being these deeply important characters to each other's backstories in like most versions of that, which then in this version does get, whether it's earned or not, it gets a very emotional reaction out of me seeing them not have that connection.
Yeah, be kind of normal to each other and not
Be like kind of normal, like
usual.
Yeah. And
Just let me alter your life forever.
yeah, pretty much. Or like seeing Shintaro have the connection that he had with Ayano was essentially replaced with this connection to Haruka instead. So it's like that shot that Chap was talking about earlier, where it's like the four of them hanging out together.
Yep.
For you guys, that's like, I don't know who any of you fucking people are. And for me, it's like, oh my god.
Of course. Of course, yeah.
Now, so which sequence of events have you enjoyed more? The first loop we had or the second loop?
Oh, that's a good question. I think
I know, I only ask good questions.
That's true, Ari. You're very good at this.
That's the best at answering them all.
Damn!
Listen, I'm trying my best.
I think Shadow's talking about Ari. Yeah, it was
That was
Ari.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood.
You're good.
Ant's like, roast Ari all you want. I don't care.
No, roast me. I deserve it.
No, shut up. No. Tell me which loop you like better.
Yeah.
Look, Ari,
I think I would say I do agree that the ending for the first loop was really strong, because that is just a
It's so good.
holy
So good.
fucking shit moment.
It's
Yeah.
so
Um,
good.
Shit just got real
I
moment,
think
yeah.
broadly, I do prefer. I like the second loop and what it is doing more, because I think it's doing more interesting things. Again, with these characters that I have much more of an idea set up for.
Yeah.
Not to. You'll have to forgive me for this one, chap. But it is a little bit like you all read episode
Uh-huh.
1 and then
Hmm.
jumped to Claire
Okay, all right.
just to
Okay.
make that.
But I don't
Well-
have yaoi in this. I do see what you're saying about the difference of the loops, because loop 1, looking at it retrospectively, was definitely more of like a set piece that kind of pulls the rug out from under you, because you have them all finding
It is-
each other and then like
Yeah,
being
it's
friends.
essentially setting up. It's essentially setting up this idea of it as an adaptation, so that it can then pull the rug out with that moment, and then start doing all of these different things. It's pulling a Go and Sotsu, honestly. Now that I think about it, which I also like a lot more than other people do, but that's a completely
Ooh.
different thing.
Oh. Now
yeah.
no, I'm kidding.
Spicy when they cry takes here, I see.
Yeah, because like definitely, because it has all of those happy moments, and then it hits you with the this is what this series is about.
It has all of the happy moments, and then also all of the beats that you kind of expect, or know to expect going in, like the everything with Haruka's backstory, everything with Haruka and Takane's backstory, and you get those pieces of like the Mikakushi Dan, you get Momo and Shintaro, and even, I mean, the first thing that happens in both this loop and the novels is the hostage situation.
Yeah. God, I forgot about the hostage situation.
It's
so
really funny
so
how
long.
little it has to do with anything.
Like I said, it was the tutorial.
It's like
It was the
Nazi
tutorial.
gold
It was the
in
tutorial part.
proportions of
Yeah.
relevant, like escalation, but also plot relevance.
It was the tutorial of their abilities,
Yeah,
which
but
we
even
then
the
didn't
gold
see
at least
again.
like comes back around later.
You know?
This is just a random bit of
This is an incident
whatever
that
the fuck.
happens.
It,
Honestly, I
This is
wish
a
it was
random
longer.
encounter.
You wish it
Yes,
was
I
longer?
do
Yeah.
wish that this manga was
I wish it
longer.
was a little bit, because obviously, like Anne is getting at, like there is more that we're just not getting,
Yeah.
and I wish that it was long enough for us to get that.
Well, like we were saying last
That's
week.
kind of the thing, is it is expecting you to have gone in with these expectations so that it can then subvert them. Like this is, I mean, and that's whether or not that's like a valid thing to criticize. I don't know. Soul said it's expecting homework. Yeah, basically.
Well, last week we were saying we wanted the series to be longer because we wanted to see more time loops. We wanted to see more variations of what this story could be.
Yeah, I wanted to see us actually use the fact that this is a time loop in the narrative, other than to show a different event.
I do like seeing all these different takes on events and how things could be completely different. I want to see more of that in the manga.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which means I'm going to have to go read the light novels.
Oops.
Yeah, almost like I said from the fucking beginning.
Hey, listen.
Okay.
We still got to judge this.
We
still got to judge this. We still got to judge this on its own, all right?
I know.
I ain't got time for all that.
A skill issue.
Damn.
I think that is like a good summation of my feelings towards this series. I don't hate it. I do like the characters. I just wish it was longer. I want to see more variations of the story that they do in they could do in the manga. So I guess I gotta go read the other stuff.
And I'm saying this confidently. So, for those of you who aren't in chat server, I have talked a little bit about the fact that I consume Ivilius Chronicles, which was created in a very similar fashion, where it started. Well, I guess I don't know what the chronological order was for Kagerou Daze, but it started out as a set of Vocaloid songs. And then as the story got more and more expansive, it developed side stories that were told through manga and light novels. I confidently, as somebody that has enjoyed solving the puzzle that is the Ivilius Chronicles, I wish Kagerou Daze was able to take all of that and put it into one medium. Pick one and stick with it so that I have something to be able to encapsulate the whole story with. Because it's like, again, with Ivilius Chronicles, hours, years. It has taken me so long to understand the story. I can't even read most of the original works because they weren't officially translated like Kagerou Daze was. So I have been having to read off of the wikis and stuff and follow all of the little Wikipedia pads and stuff. And it's just it's satisfying to a fault. And sometimes you just wish you could sit down and get the story in one sitting and be like, okay, that was interesting, and then go into the other forms. And I'm not saying that I'm biased because I'm part of a manga book club, but I think that a manga would be a really effective way to do that with this series, because you're able to combine some of the visual symbolic elements that you would get with the music videos along with the storytelling that you would get from a light novel. I think that it's a really good mesh of those two. So I personally feel like it would have been beneficial to have taken everything, every single AU, plus, this little bonus one, and put it into one consumable story, and I wish that's what the manga would have been.
I think that could have been an interesting idea.
That's an understandable feeling. I think I would say that honestly the anime would have been a better choice, just because you would then also have like the songs themselves, which are
That's true.
Like that's what Gene is first and foremost. He's a musician. But the anime is its own can of worms.
Which we'll get to at some point in the server. Don't worry.
At some point.
Well, we got a backlog going here, okay? I'm working through it.
The original TV release?
Of course! We gotta see the original Theory of Happiness version.
Yeah, you gotta.
Wait, hold on.
Don't worry, Shadow. You'll find out. Don't worry.
I'm scared.
You will learn. You will find out. Don't worry. We have to experience. We have to experience it as God and the Kagerou Daze fans experienced when it first happened. All right.
This is ominous.
Don't worry.
That's really good, Andy.
Don't worry about it. What's the worst that could possibly happen?
I'm not going to give you a reason why not to worry. Yeah.
Smile because it happened.
Yeah, that's the moral of what's happening. That's what Aine said before she just decided to die. in front of Shintaro. Be like, hey, you've been really depressed since your sister died. What if I died too? That'd be that'd be pretty wild, wouldn't it? All right, bye. What if I died but like with a smile on my face? Would that be okay? Okay, bye.
I'm in heaven now. So sorry I died.
I'm playing video games with Haruka, but like we're still out in the cold in the hospital thing that we kept complaining about how fucking... By the way, that hospital was just like, go take your games outside. You're too noisy. Bro, there's nobody else in that fucking room with them. It's just those two. I don't know why they had to kick them outside every day.
You sick kids. Go outside to play your video
Even in the winter.
Cold.
I completely forgot to bring that up with last week's stuff, but that's fucking wild that they were doing that to them. I thought the crazy doctor guy from the first loop was doing it, but that guy was fucking dead before all that happened. So,
No, dude, it's all the doctors. They're all just insane.
you know what? That's a possibility. Maybe some other doctor
the author
at that
mean by
hospital
this?
was behind all of this.
Average American healthcare experience.
Oh, okay. True.
Ow! Sorry.
Me too. I agree. All right. Afterwards. Let me talk about some of the afterwards here. Volume 11 afterwards. First we have Jin. It feels like Volume 10 only just came out, and now we're at number 11. They sure come fast. The novel version of Kagerou Daze is complete, but the manga version continues. What kind of end will there be to the Makakushi Dan's battle? I'm looking forward to it. Very excited even. Things are getting lonelier as the number of characters dwindles, but I'm sure we'll provide you with a red-hot story to the end. Thanks for continuing to support us. And then there's like a little drawing of a...
red if there's no color.
There's a drawing next to his signature of like a head with arms and legs, and it's got its height written down. I don't know, is that supposed to be Jin?
That's Jin, okay? He is...
I'm gonna show this on stream too. I don't know what to make of this, Jin.
You know...
I don't know.
Sorry, chap. What's not clicking?
Who is this Jin's head? Is this somebody else, or why did we need a measurement of his how tall his head would be as a body, or
head?
I just don't understand what you're confused about. This makes perfect sense.
Oh, okay. What did he mean by
Like,
this?
if you just listen to the song.
Is this foreshadowing for the ending? The ending, the big bad is just going to be this, or the final form of Mary is going to just be this guy? Like, do you think in the end this head guy is going to look exactly the same as Shintaro and Seto and Haruka, but like he's just very small? Do you think?
He's just what you get if they became one of the monsters from Yume Nikki.
Okay,
Sorry,
all right, I understand.
Yeah.
Okay, then after Jin, we had Sidu, who has decided to stop bothering with afterwards entirely now. Before, they were just doing like random comments of characters or whatever because they gave up on having ideas of new things to say, and now we've just stopped bothering entirely. So I don't know if that means that they drew this or if this is just art that goes along with it and he just says congrats or whatever, but I'll show this on stream as well. I mean, it looks cool. I was just like, did Sidu draw this? He's just supposed to be a character designer, right? So does that mean Sidu drew this, or is this Mahiro's art? My assumption would be that Sidu drew it, but I have no idea. All I know is that Sidu has given up on writing anything else for the afterword.
Yeah, as we know, a character designer and an artist are completely different things. With
Well,
no
because
skill
like
overlap whatsoever.
I know there are different
whatsoever.
artists, like they can do art or whatever, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the art that we see on the afterward page is their art. Is my issue, because on some of these pages it's like art from the artist, I assume, for the artist for the manga. And I don't know if that means that the art on that page is drawn by that character. I have no idea. I don't know. Maybe not. Anyways, the next one is the manga artist Mahiro Satou for Volume 11. Thanks, perhaps, to my living like a shut-in, whenever I communicate with someone outside for the first time in a while, my conversation and behavior gets all kinds of messed up. Recalling my occasional big mistakes night after night makes me want to scream. I like to reduce the number of accidents I have. Okay. This is all written next to Keto. I don't know if that implies that this is Keto's thoughts or the author. And then it says, "I love Keto-san with that bring it on expression." Is what they wrote next to the art of Keto. And then it says in like a bubble thing underneath, "Thanks very much for reading. Hope I see you in the next volume." I'll show the art of Keto.
There's Keto. Look at her in the back, alive,
Jesse,
cooking as always.
Keto, we have to cook. Yo, Mr. Clearing Eyes, I don't know
Always
about this.
blame
We're
the
making meth
woman
here. I don't
in
know.
question.
Keto, you don't understand. I need this gun to reset the timeline. All right. So that's those afterwards. Now volume 12's afterwards. We start with Jin.
Don't like it. I got the clearing eyes.
Thank you for picking up volume 12 of the manga version. The comic Kagerou Daze is now rapidly approaching its finale. We couldn't have gotten this far without the concerted efforts of Sato Sensei and all the support we received from you. I'd like to take my feelings of appreciation and pour all of them into the final battle. Hopefully you'll want to stay with us to the very end. He's included another drawing here.
Oh boy, here we go.
Which appears to be guy with shirt, and it says "I'm new."
He's new. We
Yeah,
got
he's
new characters right at the very end, Chef.
I'm
Okay.
gonna show this on the stream too. It says "I'm new."
Yeah, he's new.
Was this the head from the previous thing, but he grew a body, or? Well, no, he's
No,
new. I'm sorry.
That's the thing that Konoha becomes.
Oh, okay. I guess he is new, so.
New
Yeah.
Seal.
Because that's because I mean, look at the end of volume 12. That's his design for the snake thing that possesses
Oh,
Konoha.
The reptile.
I see. I
Yeah.
see. Okay. And then the next one is Sidu again. With it says congrats on manga volume 12, and then it's just art of a semi Medusa Mary. I don't remember if we've gone full Medusa yet or what the rules on that are. Supposedly we're full Medusa if we have all of the eye abilities. Here we have like what 3 or 4 of them or something. So
We're getting there.
well, I think their goal is to not get there because they don't want to get there because that would mean everybody in
Well,
our cast has died. That's my assumption,
Except
but
for Shintaro.
all right.
Some people don't need to live for a good story.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
That's true. People don't need to live.
And then
Yeah.
after that, we have Mahiro, who has also given up on an afterword. It just says, Kagerou Daze Volume 12, thank you very much. And it says, I love Ane-chan. It's a very nice photo of Ane. Very nice art. I'll show it. I do agree, though. I do agree. Here it is. There she is. So yeah, at this point, they've given up on afterwards, I guess. But I guess there's only so much you could say sometimes, you know? Not so much. And then we've getting ready for the final chapter. It says it in big, bold letters on a blank page. It says, at long last, the next volume will be the final chapter. It's almost here. I'm trying to remember. Was there another series we read that had said next week is the end, and then it wasn't, or something?
That's Noridoro.
Dorihidoro was the one that did that.
That one, and also Pandora Hearts.
Pandora. That's what I was thinking more
Oh
recently.
That
yeah.
final chapter in the second to last volume or something.
Yeah, it was like next volume is the last or the end or whatever. And,
That one I still don't understand because she had
No,
a.
I think it was literally next up the final chapter.
yeah, I think it was something
'Cause
like
I
that.
remember this conversation.
Okay.
Yeah, and that one I still don't get because she had like an afterword where she's like, "Yeah, I thought it would be," and it's like, you had so much more to wrap up though. How did you think? Huh?
And then she
Look,
didn't.
look, Ari.
And then I knew.
Anyway,
All right. Well, that's the afterwards and all that stuff, preparing us for the final volume next week. Do we have any other final thoughts about this week and/or thoughts about how we want this to end for next week?
I hope more people die.
Oh,
Murder is
any
good.
specific people, or just all of them, or just anybody?
Not all. I did not say all of them. Just
We could. Look,
more.
Ari, you're a coward. All right.
So you
Everyone
just
died.
more.
That's
You just
pretty
want the
funny.
body count to be higher.
oh, I
Dude, you know
did-
what would be so crazy is if Shintaro
Omnibus.
spent the next 7 chapters getting super attached to everybody through really long and convoluted backstories, and then they all die, and he's the only one to survive. So it wasn't only Ene that died on him or Momo; it was all of them. Wouldn't
And
that
then
be
you're-
crazy, guys?
And then he
Interesting.
reverts to super Hikikomori.
Interesting.
I will say, we didn't mention this. Mary has a new look in
She
volume
does.
12. I like it.
Oh, yeah.
She
does,
has
yeah.
her hair is shorter now, and her bangs have turned a different color. She has the scales on her. She looks like 5 years older now. Like she looks like she went from 9 years old to like actually the same age as everyone else. But it's also just like a
it
really
just
cool
takes
design,
a little
I
time
think.
sometimes.
Because you've got the mixture of the like Alice in Wonderland dress that she always wears with this kind of you know, turning towards monstrous design, and she's also a lot more confident in her appearance and not her appearance, her personality and how she acts to others.
Right.
So I thought that was really interesting. I like that.
Yeah.
And we didn't mention that, so I thought I'd bring it up.
It's very nice. I think I was just so focused on all the other stuff that was happening that I was just
Yeah.
I was more distracted by that kind of stuff. I mean, but it is kind of cool. I think with the Mary stuff, I do just remember it being like she's just trapped in bed. It's like she's transforming. I don't know what to do. Everybody's all depressed, and then Shintaro and them show up, and she's just like out, just walking again. She's like, "All right, guys, are we doing this? My transformation's done."
No. She's like, all right, let's do this, and then immediately falls down again.
Oh yeah, true. Happens. Okay, yeah. Any other thoughts about this week and or what's gonna happen next week that we want to express? Anybody?
One thing I'd like to mention.
Yeah, what's that?
And I'm going to need your help on this one, unfortunately.
I tend to have that effect on people.
All right. So NA's abilities, the awakening eyes, for some reason just turns you into electromagnetic being from Mega Man Star Force. That's literally it. That's the entire ability.
Yeah, just about.
Okay. Glad we
She
could
just
clear that
become
up.
a Megasis. That's it.
Glad
That's her
we could.
ability.
Yeah, true.
What's the name of her ability?
But
Awakening.
I assume it's the awakening. It's whatever ability allows them to project themselves outside of their body, and seemingly here it seems to be attached to technology. It looked like in the meeting with Mary, she was being projected out of like a TV monitor or something like that, some kind of monitor there.
I think a phone.
Yeah, it's like how Jumanji, the game, adapts to whatever medium is most popular.
You're
or
not
whatever.
gonna top my most obscure reference for the episode.
Hey, Jumanji's not that Jumanji's not obscure. Jumanji's popular. Now, if you mention Zathura,
Zathura, Jumanji, they're basically the same thing.
They are, because Zathura.
I mean,
Yeah, but I mean.
No, I
but now I'm just thinking about Zathura. Okay, I want to watch this Zathura again.
I'm sure there are other things. There are other things that pull it adapts to whatever. Oh, like Weeping Angels. They adopt that's also not niche, but they adopt like the form that would most suit the time that they're occupying or whatever.
I see. Yeah.
That's why I believe that Funko Pops are modern Weeping Angels, and I will never own one.
Oh, that's offensive to Weeping Angels.
My friend just has like a wall of Funko Pops.
I never considered.
Yeah, do they have a soul anymore?
I never considered Funko Pops like
Well,
that.
he's
But you know what? I
Canadian,
think
so
I will
you
also
know.
refer to them as Weeping Angels from now on. I think that's a good way to see them.
That's what it feels like sometimes. Like they're everywhere. You don't realize that they're evil until they move closer to you when you blink, and you're like, "Oh,
do we need to call someone?
We do for
Sometimes
Funko
you
Pops.
just
Yeah,
wake up
for
and
Funko
it's
Pops.
suddenly
Yeah,
the
you gotta watch out for
1960s
them.
again.
They jump at you, okay, Ari? You don't.
and in the '90s, it was Furbies."
Oh boy.
Okay,
That's
that's
true.
actual
You don't
memory.
want to know
That's
where
true.
Kirby sent
actual
you.
memory.
That is true.
Ow, sorry.
I remember
And then for a
Furbies.
brief time, it was the Elmos.
Those just sent you to hell.
That is true. That is true.
You go to hell
It was a
before
different
you die.
demonic entity. Just parallel. You know?
All right.
It's like
Anybody
the
else?
cousin to the Weeping Angels.
True. Anybody else have any thoughts, concerns, questions, predictions for Kagerou Daze? Where things are going now? No? Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for being here this week. That should wrap up our discussion. We'll be here next week for the finale, Volume 13, and the quiz, because it's an odd number. So you wanted you were shit talking the Spark Notes at the beginning of each volume before. Now you're saying, "Oh, thank God they gave me that shit, aren't you?" Huh? So it's gonna be very exciting to do that because we haven't done one of these in a while. I
We
don't
haven't done one,
remember.
like, almost a year, I think. Last one was Land Illustrious. And that was,
Yeah,
like,
Land
what,
Lustre. That was like the
1 year
beginning of
ago?
this year. Yeah. Which, by the way, I didn't. I forgot to mention this
And
during
it's on
pre-show
a
or
series
whatever.
that everyone loves and will definitely remember.
By the way, Land Illustrious, I forgot to mention in the pre-show. We read this for book club at the beginning of this year. I had ordered all the physical volumes, and the physical volumes up to 12 were
Wait, I know what this
done
comes to.
at that point. So I've had 12 volumes, and then the final volume, volume 13, which the series was done before we started reading it, okay, that didn't get translated and released until this week. And then I got it in the mail, and they printed it backwards and upside down. And by that, and I posted this video onto places to show people. By that I mean, you know, when you look at the cover and you're saying, okay, so this is where you start based on the cover. You open it up and it's like not the beginning, it's the end pages, and also it's upside down. I don't know what happened with that, but apparently this isn't the first time they fucked up printing Land of the Lustrous as well, because I posted that and then somebody replied to that telling me that they did that shit, but like with some of the colored pages of their volumes in the past. And that specifically fucked up in my view because that's the character bios. It's not like art or whatever. It's like character bios, which are now upside down on those pages. This is Kodansha that prints these, by the way. Interesting choices for that. But anyways, I requested, I was like, hey, this is fuck. Can you send me a replacement on Amazon? And then they sent it and I got it today and it's perfectly fine. But I was just, it was the first time I had that happen. I was like, what happened here? What has happened here?
Weird. I've never really encountered messed up manga editions like that. I have one version, I have one copy of Chainsaw Man that is, I got it because it was a blind one that
yeah.
ended up, some of the pages are smudged somehow.
Oh, I see.
And that's why it was a reject. But I've never seen it, like, flipped. That's...
I was just like, why are these upside down? Did I look at the cover wrong? Did I have this? No, this is all correct. Even the like colored pages where like they're correctly, but like upside down in the area. And I was like, well, what the fuck? I don't know.
We
But
were,
anyways.
because I had a book club earlier this week, and one of the members was explaining how to read manga to our older members. And she was like, and then at the back of the manga, it tells you, like, oh, well, this, it says you're reading the wrong way.
I actually looked in mine to see if that was there. It's not in the Land Illustrious mangas. I thought that would have been hilarious if that was there, but it was not.
That would have been amazing.
But anyway, somebody else told me I got the Australian copy. So I thought that was funny. Anyways, that was the updates on that. Anyway, so yeah, so that's all we got for this week for Kagerou Daze. We'll be doing the final volume discussion plus the quiz for the end in the next episode. So for anybody interested in that, we'll be doing that after the discussions next week live on stream. So I'm very excited to see how that's gonna go. And then afterwards we're gonna have the typical week break from book club in order to do the voting for the next series. So start thinking about your ideas for suggestions for book club picks. The typical rules that we usually have, unless we're doing something special or whatever, the typical rules that we usually do is it's got to be a finished series, has to be completed in some way, and has to be available in English for people to read in some way. like it just needs an English translation fully to the end in some way for us to be able to finish reading it. Needs to not be primarily focused on like sexual stuff. Like we're not going to be reading hentai every week or whatever. It can have ecchi elements in some areas, but we're not making that the focus of these things. And then I think usually a good milestone we have is saying it has to be at least like 6 volumes so we can talk for more than 3 weeks or whatever. I think that's typically how we've been doing it. So that's the main things to focus on: completed series. Just make sure it's a complete series.
You
or
can't pick One Piece.
or if it's like a long running thing that has an intentionally like good cutoff point, like for example Chainsaw Man Part 1, because that was intended to be the end of the series originally, and then they decided to continue with the Part 2, which is just combined to be the main part or whatever. Like that would be an example of something like that. But again, it's the will of the people to vote for whatever you pick as well. So just because you suggest it doesn't mean it's going to get picked, but you can typically suggest however many you want. Just try not to go too crazy with it. And if for whatever reason I when I go to verify that we can find a copy of this stuff to read and I can't, it might not make the list. So just be careful with that stuff. And then yeah, that's the typical rules for it. You can join in on the series next week to view the final discussion and the quiz live at YouTube, Twitch, and Kick next week at Thursday, 9 o'clock Eastern Time, as usual. You can find links to these things at youtube.wolfborg.com, twitch.wolfborg.com, kick.wolfborg.com. And if you want to become a part of the book club, if you want to just be part of the text discussions, or if you want to be a part of these live discussions as well, you can join discord.wolfborg.com, grab yourself the anime book club role in the Discord, and you can hang out with us and enjoy the next voting process to see what gets picked. And maybe be part of the future quiz or whatever. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. So thank you so much, everybody, for being here. And we're going to wrap it up here. Oh, also one more thing. Saturday, we will be watching the last episodes of the Pandora Hearts anime. So we'll be finishing with that. And then afterwards, in later weeks, we'll be starting to watch the Bloom Into You anime since we read that manga. So we'll be watching all of that. So if you are interested in being around for those things, make sure to let me know so that I will try to make sure that you are around at the time to be a part of that. Just let me know in some way, shape, or form, and then I'll try to work things out so that you can be there. So, I think the current plan with the anime watch logs is we're going to be finishing Pandora Hearts, then we're going to start Bloom Into You, and then, well, we finish Kagerou Daze. We're going to be finishing Kagerou Daze by the time we're done with that. So I guess we could, because our choices are either get into Kagerou Daze stuff afterwards, or continue with the next season of Sailor Moon. Which we'll probably discuss more about what we want to do with that later. So anyways, that's all we got for this week. Thank you so much, everybody. Let's see who's around to raid tonight. Who do we have here? Let's see. I don't know anything about these people. Who are you people?
Who are we really? I mean, isn't that the question that Azami has been trying to answer her entire life?
You ever wonder why we're
True.
here?
All right, I got it. Let's raid into Lightning Diva, who is currently playing Danganronpa 2. Yeah, true. Say hi to them.
Novel reader.
Say hi to
Mistakes.
Dang Flang Rompa Dompa Rudy Tui Point and Shooty V3 killing Harmony. Okay, tell Lightning. Looks like she's also doing a subathon too, so she's got like a party hat going on or whatever. Have fun. Bye bye.